Let's go. Okay, what's going on, guys? So, today was all about Brick Mansion. Now, Brick Mansion is the Americanized version of a French parkour film called District B13. Brick Mansion is directed by Camille Delamar. I think I'm saying his name right?
I think you're saying
all right. So, what has he done so far?
This.
That's it?
That's all. Nothing else. He's done a couple editing, but this is his first feature-length film.
Oh, well, good for him.
Yeah.
I wish I got paid to do that. I wish someone paid me to do. Someone had the risk to give me money to do that.
Oh, okay.
And for the cast, we have Paul Walker, who, let's face it, they just hired him because he has a huge fan base, mainly women.
Yeah.
And probably few men.
Yeah.
David Bell, who is one of the founding fathers of parkour, which is basically his vehicle into the American audience here. And I do have to say that for him doing this film 10 years after the original film, and he's still in great shape, that's damn amazing. And 3, RZA, and it's RZA, former member of Wu-Tang Clan, does a lot of music stuff for people, and did that one movie where he had arms of steel.
God, that was stupid, too.
Iron Fist. There we go.
Yes.
And for the synopsis, what do you got for me?
This movie is just a revenge film. It's a cop seeking revenge for the death of his dad. That's
Simple.
It. Simple.
Just a revenge film. And so he comes into contact with a guy who basically leaps rooftops and is really light on his feet, basically. It's one of those brain check movies. You have to check your brain at the door.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of stuff here that's just out of context or non-existent. So let's get into the bad points, badass points. I have my list with me right now. 1, parkour. Would you agree with me on that one?
Yeah, well, yeah. Because it's like how many times we've done it in different ones. We always go like parkour.
Yeah.
So I told myself I'm not going to do this for this movie, and because I was expecting to get mentally tired if I kept on saying parkour in my mind through this whole movie.
And the fact that the dude who was doing it was actually the guy who started it all.
It was done correctly.
Yeah. 2, I was worried about this remake because of the fact that it was Americanized, but Luc Besson wrote it. So at least it still has that going for it.
Yeah.
3, David Bell.
That's yours.
That's mine. Mainly because he was one of the main reasons why I got into it in the first place. 4, cinematography for me was pretty cool.
Yeah,
For me, it was just it wasn't ugly. Don John.
Wait, so that's gonna be your stipulation now? Well, it wasn't ugly. Oh, so it's like it's not bad. It's not horrible.
It's not Don John.
Oh my God, Don John.
But that's it. Horrible looking films are now Don John.
That's gonna be our shorthand for a horrible looking film.
From now on,
it's Don John.
The Don John.
I like it. By the way, I watched that again just to double check my review.
Oh God!
Just to double check my review. Oh no, spot on. Anyway.
And now, the bad parts.
Bad.
Well, your pet peeve was what? For you?
The shaky cam.
Why is that?
I hate the shaky cam. No, and you've said this a few times. Shaky cam is to cover something, to cover bad action or slow or whatever, and you concede. Even the shaky cam in here, I'm like, oh, that's just slow. And I don't know, maybe I'm jaded. Maybe I'm a little bit because we're just coming off of Captain America, where those fight scenes were freaking awesome.
Yep.
And then this was just,
There's nothing.
No, it was just like, The bad fight scenes, the slow fight. It's like, it's slow, and you could feel it was slow.
Not like a Tony Jaa film, where you could put the camera on him just playing like that.
Yeah, and then
it looks awesome. Yeah. No matter what. Chuck Norris style.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's no character development in this at all.
None.
So the original film was actually based off of David Bell's character. This one is based off of Paul Walker's character. Now, it becomes more of a cliched revenge action movie compared to...
With government corruption.
Yeah, compared to David Bell's character in the original, where he was a guy who was just trying to make his way in this world and gets caught up in so many different things. I think that would have been even a still more interesting story than the same things that
they could have made Paul Walker's character that thing like that, and it probably would have worked better. But it was just better.
Probably for a minute there, it turned into Fast and Furious to me when he jumped in the Mustang.
Right. And then at that moment, I'm like, oh, look, Paul Walker the way I like him.
Let's see. Pacing was bad.
Horrible.
Pacing was just slow at times, and it just would not let go
No, just like-
at other times. Pacing went from being super boring to being hyperkinetic.
What?
So it's like you're either really ramped or you're really bored.
And see, even for me, the ramped was not even ramped. So
Now, I don't believe a film should have balance all the time, but when it starts putting you to sleep, that's never a kind of balance you want to have in any movie.
it's bad. Okay.
At least if you're gonna do all action all the time, then do it.
Yep.
Like Total Recall did. That was just pure action the whole way
Just go.
through.
Commit, man. Just commit.
And the acting,
Horrible.
non-existent.
Just like, oh my god. And then the two worst were the two females, and it was horrible. It was like the community theater acting. You know, like we're talking Hot Fuzz. You know, the super bad community theater.
Yeah.
That's what it was to me.
And
Bad.
That's we already went over shaky cam.
Yeah.
Bad Americanization. Now I have this to say about directors trying to make an American version of a film who aren't American to deal with all the nuance and other subtleties that go into what makes an American movie.
Yep.
Instead, we come off as very cardboard cutout-ish, one-liner
Yep.
American dialogue, and it just feels really flat.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we're doing the same thing when we do foreign films.
I don't know. It makes you wonder. Makes me wonder.
Keanu Reeves, 47 Ronin.
47 Ronin.
And the last thing I had a problem with was the partnership
I
between
agree.
Paul Walker and
It
David
didn't-
Bell. It didn't click to me.
Not at all.
Now, here I am going to talk about the original again and how the other guy who Paul Walker took place over, which is Cyril Raffaelli, he's a martial artist, but he's also very athletic. So he was on par with the athleticism that David Bell had in the original. So
Yep.
I didn't get that with Paul Walker. There were just points in it where, well, one, it took me out of character when all of a sudden he pulled out a backflip out of his ass. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah, see, and
What?
especially when they kind of do that, they highlighted the fact that he couldn't do some of the stuff, and then all of a sudden there he is doing backflips. You're like,
Paul Walker can't do that.
can't do that.
So that just kind of took me out of the story because, like, where do we see that he knows how to do all this stuff?
Nowhere. Didn't you just emphasize the fact that he can't do this, and then all of a sudden he's doing it? Mm-hmm. I was like, whatever.
So to sum it up, is this worth going to see,
No,
in your opinion?
no, God,
In my
no.
opinion, I'm going to look at you, audience. In my opinion, I'd say stick to the original. There's absolutely no need to see this movie unless you care for Paul Walker, which I think I forgot to add. Let's give a moment of silence for
silence.
him. And that's it.
Yep.
And anyway, if you like Paul Walker in films, then yeah, this is his last full production movie.
Right.
So they said that at the end of the
They
of the
had a
movie
little
anyway.
memorandum thing. Yep.
Yeah.
In memoriam.
Anyway, this has been a Bad or Bad bite-sized review, and
Tiny. Little bit.
I'm Leon. That's Udi.
Yep.
We will see you later.
Later.